Gaming New. Joining me today is Bulldog and Striker. We're going to talk a little bit about different things that have been going on in the gaming industry lately and ideas. So, go ahead and introduce yourselves so that way they know your voices.
I'm Striker, friends with New Gaming here.
I'm Bulldog.
Bulldog the asshole, but that's like
So, alright, so what do you guys actually think about the state the gaming's in, like, presently with how it's evolved into what it is now, with, you know, the microtransactions going rampant, just everything like that that's been going on lately, the division and everything that's happening in the gaming community. What's your guys' opinion on all that?
I mean, I honestly don't think that microtransactions are rampant, but they're actually starting to get better. Like, I mean, when they first started, it was just a cash grab by most big companies, but now they're starting to, like, we're in the, by cash grab I mean, like, you know, hey, pay us an extra $10 to get this one mission that gives you a weapon and no one else can get unless they pay the $10. But lately it's been turning into more of just like, hey, if you want to give us $10, we'll give you a cool looking outfit that doesn't give you any benefits over somebody else, but it'll make you look cool. And I like that microtransaction. I like those microtransactions better than the, hey, make yourself more powerful by giving us money. But like what Shadow of War is going to be doing. Fuck that shit. But I mean, like,
Well, they've
I
definitely
don't
made
think it's
everything
too bad.
more gamble-based. Like, you're taking a shot in the dark on anything, and most of the microtransactions that are out here now, you get the random loot chest, just gotta hope you get what you want out of it. But yeah,
Yeah,
aside
but
from that, I get what you're
well,
saying.
like for Destiny 2, like what we're playing now, it's mainly just like I said. It's like you said on your previous videos. It's just cosmetically, it's aesthetically appealing. It's nothing to really help you as a player. It's just aesthetics. All right, Bulldog. What about you?
I mean, I've never been a fan of them to begin with. I mean, I agree with Striker. I like the way that they're doing it now. Well, a lot of games are starting to do now where, you know, cosmetic-wise, you can spend more money on the way you look and not necessarily affect how you play. I still don't like the idea of it. I still would, me personally, would rather still go out and actually just make it harder to get the achievement or the that outfit.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like instead of like putting it out there, what they could have done. Like I remember, it took me and a friend of mine probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 days of just straight playing to do the the Master Chief Collection, and if you did all of them on Legendary difficulty, you got the I can't remember the name of the armor, but you got a very specific armor set that you could only get that way. And I like that idea over like if they were if they made it to like say you spent $10, you can get this costume. I still would prefer to have it set up like that.
definitely. But as we all know, I mean, they've made money on this idea, and it's not gonna go anywhere. We're stuck with microtransactions, so we can only hope that they don't actually
Probably for the
abuse
rest of
them.
our gaming lives, yeah.
Yeah, anything that's online,
But again,
especially.
as long as they do microtransactions in a way where it's just aesthetics or cosmetics or something like that, where it doesn't give you a direct, you know, a direct advantage over another player who maybe doesn't have the money to spend the extra $5 or $10 or $15. I don't really care, to be honest with you. Like, microtransactions, honestly, I mean, just like, let's be honest, we've all probably been accused of liking a cool ass outfit and just buying it. That way we can look sweet. I mean,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's undebatable.
I mean, I'm straight up guilty of that on Warframe, where
yeah,
they came up with
that's what I'm
the
saying.
Rhino skin
Oh, yeah.
or they came up with the Palatine skin for Rhino, and I immediately bought that. Or I bought the Platinum to do that, should I say?
And another thing, even though most games do have, like, Warframe and Destiny are both good examples of it, they give you microtransactions. You can buy this stuff, but like in Destiny, every time you level up past 20, you get a free Bright Engram. So if you want to, you technically, I mean, yeah, you could spend $10, buy 5 Bright Engrams, get the salty emote that everybody wants, and then somebody else might have to play the game and level up to get it, but at least you can get it without having to spend money as well. Like,
yeah, I just gotta really hope to that sweet RNGesus. But yeah, it's definitely not going anywhere. So, I mean, there's been a lot of things going on. Like, everybody's been this is a pretty old topic, actually. People think that gaming, a lot of people from back in our day of gaming think that gaming's just gotten a lot worse. Like, all the good games are just dead. Everything's just gone downhill from there, and everything that's coming out now is pretty much trash.
Well,
opinions on that?
We've really been spoiled with video games. Like, ever since, or every year, it just always seems like the gears, we always, sorry, games have always just outdone themselves over the years. Like, every year, a new game would come out and be better than the last year's set of games, and that would actually be true to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far. I mean, I've personally not heard of any of this, like, that games are dying. I think what's killing the gaming community, if anything, is this new generation of gamers, the people who think that graphics should be the only thing that's important in a video game, and not storyline or gameplay. If anything's killing the gaming community, it's the actual player base, the actual new generation of player base that's, that thinks that graphics are the most superior. That if you're not running your game at 4K at 60 frames a second, then you're just a loser, and you shouldn't even exist. Like, I mean, it's just not. But I think games, as Bulldog was saying, they're getting better by the year. I mean, this year Persona 5 came out. Destiny 2, which is far superior to Destiny 1. I mean, like, games are getting better by the year instead of being worse by the year. So that's I can agree with that.
I got you. I mean, a lot of people have been getting let down, but the way you actually explain that actually brings me to another one of the topics, and that's that, I mean, do you think that one of the things that's really hurting the gaming community more than actual development is gamers' expectations? Just overhype, and everybody want to jump pre-orders just based on what media has sold them.
Well, I mean, overhype has definitely always been a problem. Like, we'll use what's a good example?
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs. There you go. Watch Dogs 2. The first Watch Dogs. The first Watch Dogs. Everybody thought it was going to be just this absolutely revolutionary game, and it turned out to be a good game. But it wasn't as revolutionary or as exciting as everybody hyped it up to be. And yes, overhyping video games is definitely one of the things that's making games seem not as good. Like, I mean, because all these games, you see these kick-ass trailers, and then the game comes out, and it's obviously just not going to be as good as the trailer lets on. But just like in movies, you can't judge a movie. Like the new Stephen King's It. Just because you watch a trailer and it looks creepy doesn't mean the movie is going to be good. I mean, you can't judge a book by its cover, is I guess what it. So yeah, gamers are taking things a little bit too literally now. But I also think that expectations, like you said, like, we as a gaming community, or not me specifically, but like a lot of gamers. They expect, like I said, ask anybody who's 18, 19, like new gamers. It doesn't matter what their age is, just new people. If you go online right now, go on Facebook and go to a PlayStation or Xbox group on Facebook and say, and try to argue if you posted that you think that 1080p looks just as good as 4K, which in my opinion, it does look just as good as 4K. Like, people will argue with you all day that if you don't do 4K now in 2017, that you're just a worthless sack of shit. I mean, that's just and as a gaming community, we're expecting these companies to keep cranking out these revolutionary ideas, and sometimes, honestly, I'm fine with just a typical turn-based strategy game that's 3.5 hours long. I'd be totally cool with that. Like, as long as it's fun to play for 3.5 hours. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But
okay, so there's actually a kind of a hidden war, I guess you could say, kind of a cold war going on in the industry right now, involving AAA developers and indie developers, where the AAA developers are actually getting really angry at indie developers for being able to underprice their games so much and undercut AAA titles so much that they're actually accusing indie games of ruining the gaming platform. Do you think that over budgeting their games could be a bigger part of the problem, like AAA titles just spending too much money to where they can't actually get their investments back just because they had to spend too much to make the game, that they can't charge enough to actually make their profits? Do you think that that could be another thing that's really hurting everything? That if they would slow down their...
I'll let Bulldog start with this one.
Yeah, that if they would slow down their budgeting so they can make the games on a cheaper budget, do you think they could actually probably get their price points back a little bit easier? Would you be happier with games that didn't cost as much to make but were more focused by the developer, I guess you could say?
I mean, I definitely would appreciate it more. I mean, when people mostly think of AAA titles, the biggest ones that come to mind are Call of Duty, Battlefield, and a bunch of first-person shooters. And they really, with them pumping out like a Call of Duty every single year with these just budgets, they're not really focusing on a game. They're focusing on how they can make the money back off the budget. So, like, I think it's great that indie games are able to, like, just throw their stuff out there for a cheaper price because they actually focus on the game more than the money to make what they put into it. I actually like that more because, Infinite Warfare is $60. Or I can go play a Digimon game for $40 or $30 or $40, and it'd be even I have more fun with Digimon than I did with Call of Duty.
Yeah, they
the zombie
definitely
mode on the new
that.
Call of Duty is definitely pretty great.
I mean, I'm not taking credit away from how. I mean, I will admit zombies is incredible on the new Infinite Warfare, but I just think. I really do think that AAA titles are really focusing too much on the way games look. I mean, it's all good if you want it to look realistic, but if it's boring gameplay, if it's a boring story, but it's got 10 out of 10 graphics, you got yourself a pretty crappy game, in my opinion.
Exactly.
It's all good that I can see the characters' facial pores, but I mean, the story is terrible. And I can't relate to any character.
Or the gameplay is terrible, one or the other.
Yes.
Yeah, I do believe that's affecting some developers, like the people that make the WWE games. I think they're actually suffering pretty heavily from taking away, customization options and limiting what the player can do in favor of making the characters just look as realistic as they humanly can. I think their sales have been hurt pretty crippling lately.
Here. Like,
I see that. But, yeah, I do think... I personally, I think that a smaller budget, especially if developers can start getting their own publishing taken care of instead of having to rely on publishers to come in and save them, I think that the developers could do a lot more if they don't have that overhead. Most of my favorite games are made with smaller budgets, and that's what the indie community is actually showing everyone, the gamers especially, is that on a small budget, a game like Minecraft can be made that can make more money than Call of Duty can make easily, in a spectrum of 3 years. Minecraft one game by itself is, I think, is actually, I don't have the specs on this, so I could be wrong, but I do think that they're actually outselling Call of Duty at this time, just because of how their massive success on the single title alone.
Well, going off of what I mean, the whole yearly thing. Let's say Call of Duty. So everybody, like, just like Destiny, you've got two groups of people for Call of Duty. You've got the group of people who they just absolutely hate Call of Duty, don't want anything to do with it, and they think that you're a scrub if you play it. Then you've got the group of people like me and Corey that we don't love Call of Duty, but we enjoy it for what it is. You know, it's fun to play with our friends. But you want to know what would help Call of Duty, like games like AAA titles? If Call of Duty took a 3-year break, let's say they did not make, let's say World War II comes out in 2017, and they did not make another Call of Duty until 2020. 3 years would be, like, if they waited 3 years, they would make a damn fortune on the next one they made, because people would miss it. Like, we've gotten so used to there being a new one every year that if they stopped doing it every year, they would actually make more money from stopping doing it every year and making one 3 years later, because that would, you know what I'm saying? Because people are just like, hey, it's, you know, it's the same thing every year. Well, then don't make it every year. Wait 3 or 4 years before you make another one, and then crank it out real hard. People would go absolutely fucking bonkers for that stuff, dude. Like,
that definitely seems to be Square Enix's take on that, and it seems to be working pretty well for them, with Final Fantasy 15 actually taking Game of the Year last year. I mean, it definitely seems that releasing your titles more infrequently is a definite way to go about things. But speaking of Square Enix, it can actually bring us into the topic of so that everyone's starting to do like more and more remastered games again, which we haven't seen for a while, and now all of a sudden they're starting to flourish.
But
some people are and some people are not. Some people are concerned about how remakes are in movies, how they just keep rehashing the same stuff, and some people are worried that, you know, these remakes are just going to be an excuse to rehash previous content and not actually bring out new IPs and
new content,
sequels to
and
games.
Make money. I can understand that. It's good, but it's bad. I'll tell you one way it's bad. Kingdom Hearts. That's bad. When you make Kingdom Hearts 2 76 fucking times, it's time to give the hell up on Kingdom Hearts. Okay, it's time to give the hell up on Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I get it. We all like Kingdom Hearts 2, but I'm not buying it 15 times, guys. Okay, I'm not like no. But now let's look at Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 9 right now is $20.99 on the PSN store. They've never remastered it in high definition. It is literally the same game. It's just got better textures and stuff. It's using the same thing that Final Fantasy 7 did.
That, and they've implemented cheat codes, but that's only for... Oh boy, he lagged out of the party.
Oh man.
Alright, Striker will be rejoining us momentarily. This does happen to him from time to time.
Yes.
While he's gone, Corey, what's your take on the idea of remakes versus sequels and IPs?
I'm kind of with him on this one. It's a good and a bad thing. I think certain games should get a remastered version, but I don't think what I'm hoping doesn't happen is every game in the past just gets a remastered.
So I totally wasn't paying attention, and my cat fucking turned off my Wi-Fi. So he jumped on my, like, I have this little Wi-Fi extender router thing in my room. That way I get better Wi-Fi in my room. And he jumped on it and hit the button to turn it off, so I had to turn it back on real quick, and it reconnected me. But so yeah, my bad. But anyway, but like Final Fantasy, like I was saying, Final Fantasy 9, they remastered it one time with better graphics. Same game, just the PS4 version with better graphics. It looks phenomenal. It's great. If the one time, remasters should be done one time, and then after that one time, we all have our nostalgia, because I haven't played Final Fantasy 9 since I was 11, 12 years old. It's been a long fucking time, okay? And so being able to play it again with better textures and stuff like that, that's great. But then you've got Square Enix doing, like I said, with Kingdom Hearts. They've made that game 72 fucking times now. And it's just, like, and we get it. It's a great game. You guys want to try to milk the cash cow buying it. I mean, maybe 2 times, you know. But if you do it more than that, then you're kind of like, for instance, for people who don't, the EU series comes out November 3rd. It's going to be a remastered in 1080p, 60 frames a second for the PS4. It's going to be the entire 3 series, plus it's going to come with a never before released Volume 4, which is going to continue the original 3 volumes, and it comes out in November. That's going to be phenomenal, because I haven't played Dot Hack and it's been a long time. And that game is, and not only is that going to be a remaster, but they're also bringing a new game into it at the same time. So it's kind of like a double whammy there. So
that is definitely exciting for anyone who was a fan of RPGs back in the PS2 era in general. Especially like for me, I actually missed the Dot Hack series. I didn't get to play any of them really. I had only heard about their greatness.
I remember back in the day, Dot Hack was like, if you had a copy of Dot Hack, you were like the rare kid in school that all the nerds wanted to be friends with, because getting a Dot Hack game, like back when PS2 was still around, Dot Hack GU Volume 2 was like $150, because it was like the rarest copy of the game, and if you had one, like, you were the coolest kid in school for fucking, like, they're in your nerdy friends, because they were just rare games. They were hard to get a hold of. Like, they made a limited quantity of them, and just, I don't know, honestly, like they were just rare games for some reason. Like, especially.
Okay.
I mean, what is it, to buy the original series online now? If you went and tried to buy the entire original physical copy series of the original Dot Hack with Kite as the main character, it would run you. You're probably looking at $200 to $225 for the entire series, and there's only 4 games. I mean, that's ridiculous. But just because of how rare they are.
Okay. I was just checking the live chat, but it turns out that all that was commented on in our live chat was an ad, because, you know, Adpocalypse, which could be a bonus topic actually. What would gaming be like if we had to start sitting through ads for our freaking games?
You mean like commercials?
Yeah,
in a video
like
game?
that's a very realistic possibility with how things are going. It's a very real threat.
I mean, maybe. I don't think. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Have you noticed that most things like YouTube, Hulu has a function now to where you can buy it with no commercials. Netflix has no. I don't think they put commercials in the game only because we have to buy the game. If anything, the only games that would have commercials would be the free games.
Yeah,
like
the
PS,
like
that.
That and maybe the PS Plus deals, like, you know, you pay for PS Plus, but then you got ads in the free games you get unless you pay for PS Plus Pro or some stupid crap like that.
Yeah, but games like Destiny, like games that you pay for, like if I have to pay $50 for a game, they're not going to put ads in there. Do you know how many people that would just make if I got to watch fucking commercials while I'm playing a game? I don't even like watching I don't even like watching commercials while watching TV, for God's sakes. Like,
Oh my, I fell off. Yeah, I am 100% of the way with you there. It kind of grinds my gears, so to speak.
That would be a terrible idea if they did something like that. That would be a terrible. I could not get behind that. If they did. I couldn't even find a way to justify it. I mean, like,
yeah.
Make sure you get the chest wherever it is.
There it is.
So I am done with
Same
my.
here.
You want to go back to the tower?
we can go back.
Okay.
Continuing on with topics, I selected a few games to talk about. I didn't select a whole lot. I was selective. I'm guilty of pick and choosing these, only because they were on the top of my head while I was making the list. So, Dragon's Dogma is getting remade really soon.
Oh Jesus!
I was wanting to know, like, I remember talking to Bulldog, and he said that he never played the original, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, are either of you looking forward to that game being remastered? Since it was only last generation it actually came out, does it seem like that's a little sudden for a remake all of a sudden? You know, I mean, lots of games are doing that too as well.
I mean, Like, I mean, no, I don't think it's too sudden. What I really think it boils down to is the original Dragon's Dogma was a fantastic game, but Dark Arisen was the fucking inbred retard child of the fucking Capcom's Dragon's Dogma era.
Yeah, they definitely ruined the experience.
If they remake this, you know the way Capcom is, because to anybody who may watch this video in the future, Capcom's fucking Satan. Just letting you know. If for anybody who watches this at any point in time, just know that Dragon's Dogma will have microtransactions. I promise you.
Well, it actually already did on the PS3. Dark Arisen included the microtransactions.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there ain't no way they're going to remake this game and not try to drag as much money as they can out of everybody who plays it.
I mean, it looks like they haven't really added content to it or anything. They're just releasing it with Dark Arisen and better textures. So they'll probably, I mean, they may end up adding the microtransactions to the rest of the world, the rest of the game, ruining the game as a whole. But considering they didn't make anything off of it with Dark Arisen, they may just keep it the same where you want to spend money for Dark Arisen. For those that haven't actually played Dragon's Dogma, once you've beaten the game, which, like he said, was a fantastic game, Dark Arisen did start causing you to use the in-game currency that you can grind out, but it's a little hard to come by. They started selling you things for massive amounts of that. Yeah. They started selling stuff for massive amounts. If you want to upgrade your gear, you needed this resource. If you want to activate save points, you needed it. They got pretty crazy with it in their DLC, which really ruined the experience. If you didn't want to actually buy the stuff, it would take you about 8 hours to beat a normal in-game boss.
It was I mean, seriously, guys, they made you pay for save points. That's like asking Leon off of Resident Evil 2 to fucking whore himself out for a goddamn ink cartridge. Okay, like, I mean, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they make you do that? Which is why I'm not particularly excited for the game myself. Like, I'm not particularly excited for the game because I know what Capcom is capable. But like, they can literally take a piece of gold and turn it into a turd. So I know what they're capable of, but at the same time, I really did truly enjoy Dragon's Dogma, and I want to play it again, but not with Dark Arisen kind of being there in my face. So, I mean, for me, I'm going to probably pass on it until I know for sure that it's not as gay as it was the first time around. So, that way, that's for me personally, though.
Well, me and Pixel were going to try to get it anyways, because I know she wanted to play it again for nostalgia's sake, if nothing else. So I'll be hopefully doing a review on it at a later date. There is Monster Hunter World coming out in March of next year. I'm actually excited for that one myself.
Me too, kinda. I've never really played Monster Hunter, but this one looks like what would happen if World of Warcraft and Monster Hunter had a baby together. Like, it's like an MMO Monster Hunter, and that's pretty sweet, so I'm kind of excited for it. But I mean, that's personally though.
Yeah, and this will be the first time it's actually on a console, sorry Nintendo, that actually has good internet connection to be able to really enjoy.
You're not lying. You're not lying.
So I mean, it's still really good stuff. I mean, I'm still hyped as all get out for it.
Oh God! I got the auto rifle in my first faction reward package.
Congratulations. Let's see. I mean, with that being covered, because there's not too much to talk about Monster Hunter World until it actually comes out. We don't know really enough about it at the time. But I am looking forward to
anything at the time, yeah.
I mean, I know it's going to take it's the same general concept as Monster Hunter, but this time instead of it being in like designated zones, it'll actually be a open world map that everything will be taking place on. Allegedly around the size of a GTA map. Don't have anything to back that up, but that's from what I'm being led to believe at this time. Until that's fact, though, I don't want to state it as fact. But that is definitely something.
God, the new Monarchy cloak is so sexy. Sorry, go ahead. Just saying.
There's actually talk of a new Borderlands game coming out.
They've been talking about it now for a while, actually.
I've got very little to go on for it, but I did see that was mentioned. With the way games are now, with like Destiny coming out, I mean, it's been a little while since the games that are included in the Handsome Jack collection came out anyway. Do you think that a new Borderlands game could actually compare and compete with games like with Destiny out here and Anthem and Warframe's getting its new update?
Yeah, like absolutely. Like Borderlands 2 came out. Borderlands 2 came out right around the time that the first Destiny and stuff like that was coming. And I get it, Destiny 1 wasn't as good. But Borderlands 2, there are still people to this day that vigorously play Borderlands 2. Okay? I'm telling you right now, if they actually do make a third Borderlands, it won't just do good. It could quite possibly win Game of the Year. Because, let's be honest, the first two were pretty fantastic. I mean, who doesn't like a good loot and shoot with comedy and stuff like? I mean, it's pretty much like it's an open world Destiny with comedy and a different skin texture. I mean, it's pretty sweet. It's even got its own technical versions of raids and stuff. I mean, if they do bring it out, I think it would do quite well. Yeah.
So, with those already being taken, into consideration, is there any other upcoming games that either of you are actually excited for that are going to be coming out in the near future?
In the near future?
Within the next, as long as we actually know up to the point of, anything that's coming out that's interesting to you in the next year, so that have actually been officially announced.
Well, South Park: The Fractured Butthole finally got a actual release date. It's October 14th, I think. It actually got a legitimate release date. So,
which is surprising that they can even make an announcement at this time, considering the controversy they're underneath at the given moment.
Yeah, like they actually gave us a legitimate release date. Like it's actually coming out. It's legitimately coming out October 14th, I think. And now that I know for sure that it's definitely coming out soon, I am excited for it, because I mean, honestly, regardless of the controversy or not, the first one was pretty damn funny. The first one was pretty damn funny and it was fun to play. So I'd say that if I had to choose anything, I'd say that is more than likely the one I'd have to say is the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Bulldog, you got any that's actually you're excited for coming out?
Most of the games that I'm excited for are probably going to be more next year.
That's fine.
As far as I know, all the release dates that I see are mostly games that God of War will be coming out next year. At least last time I looked, I'm excited for that one because I was a fan of the series. Also extremely high. The one I guess I could say I'm the most excited for is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I can say that I agree with that statement. Red Dead Redemption 2 does look like it's going to be pretty wondrous when it finally does decide to release. I mean, I can agree with that statement. I mean, honestly, if I went onto the PSN store and actually looked, to be honest with you, I'm sure I could find something else. It's just, honestly, right now, I've already got the new Call of Duty pre-ordered. That's done. I've already got Dot Hack pre-ordered. That's done. Dot Hack comes out November 3rd, the same day as Call of Duty, which means I'll get 2 new games at the same time. That's pretty sweet. I honestly, without actually going and looking, I don't know right off the top of my head I haven't actually been keeping up with what's coming out and stuff. I just know that I saw a post on Facebook about the South Park game actually releasing in October for real. I was like, wow.
No, I mean, I know I have different tastes than most people from what I've already been told by everybody that knows me. But, I mean, I'm actually kind of excited for Gungrave is going to be getting another installment made for the PS4. And that one kind of excites me. And if I had access to the VR, they're actually doing a remake of Sun and Enders.
I actually just thought of one that's coming out. For people who played the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, there's a second one coming out. Digimon Story something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's coming out March, I think, of next year. It's coming out March of next year. Oh man! But for anyone who may watch this video or whatever, if you're an RPG fan and you've not played Cyber Sleuth, it's friggin' wonderful. So you need to go play it. And then the second game is coming out next year sometimes. The only other thing I can think of, and I don't know how I didn't notice this one because I was a huge fan of the first one, Ni no Kuni 2 comes out next year, and that game's going to be pretty sweet as well. Like I love me some original Ni no Kuni, and the second one comes out next year, so like I'm pretty excited for that as well.
Yeah, the next year actually looks to be a very promising year for gaming, so we're going to keep an eye out on it and hope.
Like, holy crap.
Oh, yes.
Hope things continue to elevate.
Actually, I'm just, since I'm not actually doing anything, I decided when Striker brought up the store, I figured I'd go ahead and get on here and look at some of the stuff you could pre-order, stuff that hasn't come out, and I didn't realize that they made a new Gundam game.
They did. It's a fighting game, Gundam Versus.
Yes. Yeah. Here's one for you, Chris.
Know about
that. New Age. Here's one for you. Like, Shenmue 3 comes out next year.
I've heard that they actually got that finally settled through the Kickstarter and the Patreons they've been going through.
Yeah. Shenmue 3 comes out next year. Here's one for all of you Dark Souls fans out there. Okay. So, Dark Souls fans, you love games that are hard. I'm a Dark Souls fan myself. If you like anime, there's a game coming out next year called Code Vein. Code Vein. Go look it up. It's literally what would happen if Dark Souls had an anime. That's what it is. It's an anime Dark Souls, and it plays it plays the same, like the control wise, like dodge and stuff, but it's just anime style. And I think everybody I think it's in Japanese or whatever, and it looks friggin', oh my god, it looks fun. It looks fun. I mean, I'm looking at a whole bunch of different stuff right now. I went on Google. I went on my phone and went on Google and stuff. I mean, Anthem. We're all kind of, sort of, maybe looking forward to Anthem, I guess. I mean,
definitely keeping an eye on it.
Worried.
I'm keeping an eye on it for sure.
It's definitely one of those things to keep from getting into the hype from falling into overexcitement and having our expectations raised too much to where it can't keep up.
For real.
That's definitely the trap there.
Yes, and also for any horror fans, I guess, if you like the first one, I guess The Evil Within 2 will be coming out.
That's actually this year, though. That comes out this year.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter when it comes out. I mean, we're just discussing games that aren't out yet that look good.
I'm just saying, like, I was saying that I mean, you could hear I was a fan of the first one, even though it wasn't very scary. Granted, it was still a good overall experience. I like the storyline, and I'm actually looking forward. Like, I want Evil Within 2. Like, when it finally comes out, I actually do want the game, and I thought it wasn't going to come out until February of next year. And then they pushed up the release date to, I think, what is it, next month? Is it October or November?
It is October the 13th.
Yeah, so, it comes out on Friday the 13th. It comes out on Friday the 13th. I remember that's what, so yeah, Evil Within 2 is going to be pretty sweet. Here's one for anyone, who played, like, Until Dawn, or Beyond Two Souls, or Heavy Rain. Those games are all fantastic, by the way, and if you own a PlayStation at all, you should probably go check them out, just because it's kind of like they're kind of staple games for the PlayStation. But next year, now, it doesn't actually have a confirmed release date, it just says 2018. But next year, there's a game coming out called Detroit Become Human, and it literally is. It's made by the same company that did Until Dawn and Beyond Two Souls and all that, and it's literally going to be a storyline from 3 different points of view. One, you're going to be playing as an android who's trying to like, you live in a world where androids are like in like a slavery to humans, and you on one storyline you're playing as an android who is trying to free the androids from being slaves to humans. On the second storyline you play as an android who is working for the humans to try to keep the robots enslaved, and then on the third storyline you play as just a regular human who you can actually choose whether you want her to believe in slavery of the androids or to fight against slavery of the androids. So it's going to take part from 3 different points of view, and it looks pretty, I mean, it looks pretty intense. Like, you know how, I mean, if you've played those games before, then you know how intense those games can get. So, I mean, that looks pretty sweet, but...
Okay.
Hey Chris, I'm New Age. I'm gonna
You'll get the hang of this eventually. We're wrapping this up at this point. This is closing segments. I mean, anybody got anything else that they want to add at this point before we sign off? I'm just sort of killing myself at this point, so literally in the game I am.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, closing segment. This won't be the last time. This won't be the only time we ever do this. And for people watching this in the future, just remember that Bulldog's a lot meaner off camera. So I mean, like he's a.
I think he'll show his true colors on camera.
He's talking about. I don't have any clue. I'm not that mean.
If you ever see us actually play a game together, you might, see some of the shenanigans that he can get into, that me and him can get into. I mean, just blatantly put. I mean, at the start of this video, I said, "Bulldog the asshole." There's a reason why I called him that, but you'll find that out maybe in some future episodes.
Okay.
That's my closing segment.
Do you have anything to add, Bull?
No, I think that was a great closing segment for me.
yeah. But
all
he
right.
doesn't just saying.
So, all right. So this has been New Age Gaming. This is new Bulldog and Striker. We're actually, if you are playing Destiny 2 and you don't have a clan, we are known as Pixel Punks on Destiny 2. If you need a clan, go ahead and hit us up. We're not exactly turning anybody down, so I mean, if you just want somebody to play with, then you're more than welcome to come join us, have a blast, and see where it goes from there. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Everybody, you have a wonderful day.
Cue off.